Welcome back. Compared to Asia, Europe, and North America, the coronavirus pandemic came late to Latin America. But now the region is feeling the full effect on its already stretched healthcare systems and economies. Here's the latest from BBC reporters in Brazil, Ecuador, Venezuela, Colombia, and Nicaragua.
Brazil, the biggest country in Latin America, has been hugely affected by the coronavirus pandemic. The healthcare system here is so close to collapse that they have been converting football stadiums into temporary hospitals. Inside this one in São Paulo, there are more than 200 beds for patients with COVID-19. As for lockdowns, cities and local authorities have been putting them in place themselves. But the country's president, Jair Bolsonaro, is against the idea of a national shutdown. He says he's worried about the economic impact of such measures.
Ecuador is at the moment the Latin American country hardest hit by the coronavirus outbreak. Thousands of people have died in the province of Guayas because of the virus and because of other conditions that couldn't be treated when the health system collapsed. Mortuaries and morgues were also overwhelmed, and bodies had to wait for days to be collected and buried. A nightmare no one wants to see replicated in other countries of the region.
Many economies in Latin America are already weak, and Venezuela is the weakest of them all. It's been in a deep economic crisis for years. Here, while there are not that many official deaths, the healthcare system is one of the most stretched and badly prepared in the region. Medical centers like this one are trying to get ready for COVID-19, but doctors I spoke with say that there are nowhere near enough intensive care units if the virus spreads. The government has put in place a shutdown, but many are worried that it could be a crisis on top of another crisis for Venezuela.
In many of these countries, most people live from the informal economy. They buy and sell goods for cash every single day. This street in Colombia's capital, Bogotá, normally is full of street vendors, people who are selling things from empanadas to cell phone cases. But the lockdown has practically freezed the informal economy, and these people have no source of income. But authorities say that the lockdown is the only way to avoid the health system's collapse.
But not in all the parts of Latin America has it been closed. Here in Nicaragua, people continue with daily life. The government has ignored messages from public health experts. Markets and shops are still open, and sporting events like baseball are still going on. The government says the economic cost of the shutdown will be too much. But experts are warning that if the country doesn't take action now, it could see an uncontrolled spread of the virus, and it could end in disaster.
Due to the ability of the COVID-19 virus to remain on surfaces for extended periods of time, it has been advised that all waste substances be treated as hazardous waste and disposed as such. However, according to the Solid Waste Management Authority, due to the current capacity at the island's waste management facilities, it is difficult to uphold this protocol. They say following the stabilization of the COVID-19 situation, the St. Lucia Solid Waste Management Authority will move with haste to establish facilities to deal with such situations in the future. Jacques Wooding reports.
While adjustments to the collection services of the St. Lucia Solid Waste Management Authority still stand, SLSWMA General Manager Justin Seeley has noted several challenges currently being faced in waste management. He notes that persons in quarantine generate more waste than previously recorded. With the ongoing transition from the recently closed waste management sites in the south of the island, he believes it would be timely to follow through with the commission of incineration facilities to aid in waste management in southern communities.
From last year, you may be aware that the authority has been in a transition in the south, implementing a new waste management system which included small-scale pyrolysis units. That has been placed on a halt for now because, like I said, because of the COVID-19 situation. But it should be, I will take the time to express the need to continue with it. As we could see, the idea is to have small-scale pyrolysis units in a decentralized model, closer to to the generators of waste.
Seeley says due to the nature of the developing COVID-19 situation, it is very unlikely for the project to continue, and as such, it has been halted until further notice.
The model that we were actually looking at would actually be quite beneficial in this kind of time. But the virus, the situation happened, did not give us enough, did not give us the headway that we needed. So we right now have to suspend that project and just deal with just the basic operations for the time until. Until.
Seeley says this experience will surely impact the operations of the Solid Waste Management Authority after the pandemic has subsided. He noted the impact that those facilities would have had in dealing with waste buildup and sanitation at this time. He says SLSWMA will waste no further time in completing these much-needed projects. The GM urges persons to cooperate with waste officers by remaining abreast with collection adjustments in their communities. For 7 News, I am Jacques Oding.
Most beaches in Sydney, Australia remain closed during the ongoing lockdown, including the world-famous Bondi Beach, but 3 have reopened. Exercise is now allowed at 3 beaches, but social distancing rules are still in place. Local officials say this will make a big difference to people's mental health.
I can be cool, so I make the choices.
On Saturday, the 18th of April, the largest virtual COVID-19 fundraising concert went live in support of COVID-19 vaccine research and the operations of the World Health Organization, having recently lost funding from the United States of America.
When the night has come.
Some of the world's top performers have stepped in once again to help the World Health Organization fight the COVID-19 pandemic by taking part in the One World Together at Home broadcast. The historic 8-hour special neared worldwide distribution and reached billions, with more than 60 broadcasting networks across 175 countries, as well as 9 digital online platforms and hundreds of affiliates in celebration and support of the brave healthcare workers doing work on the front lines. Donations to the fund will support WHO's work around the world, including vaccine development and epidemic preparedness innovation. The Together at Home effort will also aid over 100 additional regional charities. Celebrities and musicians including Jack Black, Matthew McConaughey, Jennifer Hudson, BTS, Billy Ray Cyrus, Adam Lambert, and Elton John reiterated social distancing and hand-washing recommendations to a worldwide audience.
There are people out there who are risking everything to keep us all safe. We want to join with all of you to say a huge thank you to them.
Our thanks goes to all of the healthcare workers all around the world who are working so hard, leaving their families to go to work to protect us and our children. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts. And now for the big performance of the night, a man who wants to show his support to everybody affected by COVID-19, our dear friend, Sir Elton John.
This is for everybody out there who's been working on the front line 24/7. Thank you for all your expertise, your love, your care, your humanity. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
You can never know what it's like. Your blood like when it freezes just like ice. There's a cold and lonely light that shines from you. You wind up like the wreck you hide behind that mask you use. Get the things fool never win. Look at me, I'm a coming back again. Got a taste of love in a simple way. You need to know I'm still standing. You just fade away. You know I'm still standing there and evident. Looking like a true survivor. Feel like a little kid. I'm still standing after all this time.
Meanwhile, on the local scene, many artists have continued to engage fans by hosting their own digital parties and talk shows on Facebook and Instagram. With consistent surplus of 5,000 viewers tuning in nightly in support of these efforts, eFests have definitely been a hit. Fans can tune in throughout the week for performances and live interactions with their favorite Denry segment, soca, and calypso artists, as well as a variety of local comedians. For Hot 7 News, I am Jacques Wooding.
This is the Hot 7 TV Nightly News. When we come back, sports and the weather.